Good afternoon. Welcome to the Paris Olympics and the second round of Fancy Hat Crab Ball. The first round provided us with a huge shock when Hampton Fanny, who is considered the second best Fancy Hat Crab Baller in the world, was controversially knocked out after the Crab Lord Mighty judged Hampton's pincing during a scuttle rush to have knocked his opponent Benton Chunder's hat to the ground. Although technically this left Benton in a state of unfanciness, the rules are very clear on pincing to remove a hat, and so Hampton was disqualified, leaving Benton to go through. So, while we watch all the Fancy Hat Crab Ballers begin their scuttling, I thought I'd give you a little bit of background on Fancy Hat Crab Ball. The sport originated in the British town of Chelmsford in 1984 in the Molsham district. By 1985 it had spread to the Great Baddow area, and in both those areas it has remained the 14th most popular sport, played annually by an estimated 12 people. This is the first year it's been included in the Olympics, and its popularity is already growing. I can see seven people in the audience, so that's twice as much as the first round. I think the Hampton Fanny controversy must have generated quite a buzz. So that's the scuttling done with now, and we have Benton Chunder, resplendent in a top hat festooned with tiny reproductions of all the great men of the American Civil War. Now remember, in Fancy Hat Crab Ball, the hat must be as fancy as possible, but only by use of decorations based on events of over 100 years old. His opponent, Alison Bilius, has, oh goodness me, it's a 4-foot-high fascinator in the shape of the Palace of Versailles. Well, that really is very fancy indeed. Okay, now the scuttle rush has begun and Benton is clawing the ball frantically, but Alison has opted to burrow. Wow. Fancy Hat Crab Ballers are allowed to burrow beneath the arena, but only to a depth of 5 metres, so the Crab Lord Mighty will be watching her very closely, particularly with how fancy she can keep her fascinator during the burrowing. Meanwhile, Benton is pincing the ball beautifully. He really has a tremendous pincing action. If he can keep pincing that ball for another 5 seconds whilst remaining fancy, then he'll... 4, 3... Wait, what? What? Oh my word, it's a surf and turf. She's literally burrowed up underneath Benton, knocking him over, and she's caught the ball in her claw. Now the Crab Lord Mighty, in this case it's Mrs. Diamante Breckland, she's one of the most resplendent Crab Lord Mighties in the game. She will be taking a close look at that. She must all times be satisfied that the Fancy Hat Crab Ballers are, at all times, fancy. Now, that's a technical decision. I guess she's looking at their movement, their scuttling, and of course their hat. And I think that's where Alison might have... No, she's fine. That's okay. That's fancy. That's definitely fancy. Tremendous move by Alison there. That gives her a chance to release her eggs. Yes, she's taken that chance. Absolutely incredible work. It's hard to see Benton coming back from that. That's Alison Bilius through to the next round, I think. An absolutely fantastic round of Olympic Fancy Hat Crab Ball. Now, I think that's all from us on this channel, although you can continue with this commentary on our digital channel. We're now going over to the semi-finals of the Rancid Banana Suck, which sees the plucky Falkland Islands up against favourites Belgium.